in this next video, I want to talk a little bit about reading. Now, reading, as we all know, is 60 minutes. You have 40 questions, you have 3 passages. But do we actually realize that out of the 3 passages, there are 2 which is quite simple. One would be a little bit difficult compared to the other 2. Now, we are not going to be told this is your difficult one and these are the easy ones. So by chance, in case if you find you are getting stuck in a particular passage, I would tell you, now this depends upon your comfort level. I would tell you, move on to the other 2 passages, finish those 2 passages within 30 minutes. It's happened, can do it. Keep your difficult one for the last, where you can actually keep 30 minutes to solve that. It could have around 12 to 13 questions at most. So this is what we have to be clever. We have to be clever in attempting and doing it in a correct manner. One thing is which we must remember, 60 minutes is for your reading, but that also includes the time for you to transfer your answers to the answer script. There have been many instances when students have actually finished it, but they've taken too long in transferring the answers, so some of the a few question answers have been left out. That is sad because definitely it was right answers, but you're not going to get scored for it. So plan it out. Ideally, most of the students can actually finish their reading in 45 minutes and keep 15 minutes maybe for checking spelling mistakes when you're transferring your answers to the answer script. It can happen, an alphabet missing. So give yourself time to have that moment to transfer your answers in a very, very proper manner, because if you're writing fast, maybe your handwriting could not be eligible, and if it's not eligible, you know it cannot be corrected. So obviously when it cannot be read, you're going to get it as an error. Now we talk about, most will say skim and scan. No, skim and scan is not for every type of question. In total, there's around 11 types of questions that come in your IELTS reading. Not all the 11 will come in any particular exam. But yes, I feel true, false, not given is the simplest, but we sometimes as students make it difficult because we are very hell-bent on thinking what we have thought is wrong, and then you go to correct it and then you make another mistake. So I always say, whatever is your first thought of answer invariably would be the correct. Now true, as we know, something which is there in the question, which is there in the passage, it's matching the information, is very true. Contradicting a question could be a paragraph, or the question obviously has to be false or no. Not given is maybe a word from a question matches the paragraph, but it's not explained in detail in the paragraph. Very simply, decide, give your answer and move on. Because I've noticed with experience, students try to say, no, I think it is false, but I've written true. You're forcing the wrong answer. And believe me, most of the time your answer will be correct with your first thought. So stick with that. Now there are 2 occasions that you'll get true, false, or yes, no, not given in IELTS exams. The lucky ones would only get maybe a few, 1 set. So 1 set of true, false, not given, the answers would be in descending order. If you get one answer in paragraph A, the next one would be in paragraph B. But however, the other set of questions in another passage could be up and down. So you've got to be careful with that. Now, why I say skim and scan you cannot do, because there are certain questions where you actually have to read in detail. I would always tell you, read your first, second sentence, understand what it's meaning, because it will always have one idea for one paragraph. To confirm that, read your last 2 sentences of that particular paragraph. Underline some good vocabulary words, underline names, underline years, and one thing is, any word given in inverted commas or written in italics or written in bold, as a matter of fact, please ensure you underline it, because it is got to do with a question that would be over there. You're making it easier. Now, for example, you might tell me, I'm spending too much of time on this question because I'm reading for detail. Tell you, no problem. But remember, when you're reading for detail, there could be another question which you've already got the answer. So it will quickly remind you, okay, I was reading for this, but I read about this also. So you see, your second set of questions is going to be finished faster because you've done in-depth reading for the other questions. So make reading easier, and the only way I'm going to tell you is practice. Practice is all that it requires. Watch your time. You will understand, okay, this type of question, I'm reading here, I'm going to get the answer over here. And believe me, getting a 9 man in reading is something, again, very simple. It's happening. It will continue to happen. So don't underestimate yourself. Work, be true to your work. Go back home, go through it, understand how did you get the answers. You don't have to work and sit and solve 40 questions at a time. Do it in bits and pieces. Understand how you got the answer.